Good evening, guys. What is happening? Good evening, good evening. Let me throw up the chat. How is everybody tonight? Hope you are well. Thanks for being here. We got some painting to do, as always on Saturday night. We got some painting to do. Mark, Jarut, Daryl, Acreal, Reziel, Highland Phoenix. Good evening, guys. How you doing? Yeah, it's unexpected to see you. Am I all finished moving house? Yeah, pretty much. A few boxes left to unpack. Living room's all done. The kitchen is pretty much all done. This room is kind of as good as it's going to get. So yeah, I'd say we're in a good state, I guess. And what I'm doing tonight, I guess, is desperately. They're the same size base. They don't look the same size, but apparently they are. I'm going to be desperately painting up a Volkite Contemptor. So this is the one that I was building the other night, and yeah, I'm going to start by slapping some paint on this one, and then I get 3 Volkite cannons to get some paint onto as well. I'm just matching this sort of simple scheme with some fire, orange, red, and black and silver. I mean, this one isn't even finished, but it's got 3 colors on it. It's going to be good enough for the tournament next week. This one is finished, or at least in my finished to the level of finish that I would paint them to. Have I put the feet on backwards on this one, or has it just got a different design of the feet? I think it's a different design, but I think it's fine. So this one is going to have a very basic paint job, and I gotta slap some magnets on this one as well tonight, so we'll do that too. Just built a Terminator squad, disappointed they only give 2 chain fists on the sprue. Yeah, you kind of gotta go to eBay, man. It's kind of annoying that Games Workshop do that. Chain fists are definitely the better option, I think, right now on Terminators, so go to eBay or get a 3D printer, I guess. It's kind of the only option you've got there. Let me just get this positioned. Cool, and as always, if there's any questions about Blood Angels in general, or anything really 40k related, please let me know. It's so hard to find Volkites for Contemptors. It's impossible. They've been in stock a couple of times in the last week or so. Kai, not sure how you say that, but these are actually 3D printed. All 4 of mine are 3D printed. Andrew has a 3D printer and he's been doing them for me. So, I mean, when you can't get them on the website, what have you got to do? These are actually pretty decent. Like, I guess if you didn't, there's a join here in the middle. I guess you can kind of see the join. I did use like a nail file, like just like a regular nail file, like to try and file it down so that the join was less noticeable, but there is definitely a join there in the middle, so I guess if you look closely you can tell it's 3D printed. This Contemptor is actually 3D printed as well, so it looked a lot worse before it had a spray on it, but yeah, it's 3D printed as well. What role in a battle would a lieutenant in Phobos armor best to have? I don't really run lieutenants in Phobos armor. Do they get deep strike in Phobos armor? I mean, you could have them hang out with your Dreadnoughts or something if you're running a dread list to give rerolls 1 to wound. I mean, that's always valuable, right? Or have them deep strike in with something like the Sanguinary Guard. See, in previous editions, the banner from the Sanguinary Ancient used to let Sanguinary Guard reroll 1s on wounds, and I thought that was like super strong, but in this edition it's just +1 to hit, which isn't, in my opinion, isn't nearly as good as the banner from the previous edition. So we'll start with some red, and we're going to be applying this pretty generously and quickly. So this guy was sprayed with Mephiston Red, but I always get my guys with Evil Sun Scarlet is where I like to take my reds, so I'm just going to give him like a quick coat all over with the Evil Sun Scarlet. Quite a lot on the brush, and then just spread it out across like as much of the model as I can, I guess. And this is a giant brush I'm using, by the way. And this probably looks too red when you're putting it on, but it definitely darkens down a little bit when it dries. But yeah, it does seem very, very red. Plus, I usually Agrax Earthshade over the whole of the top of this, so I'm not going to do those joins in there. I guess I'll just do them silver afterwards, so I'll leave them off. But yeah, I tried to run a lieutenant like once or twice in the last 6 months, and like reroll ones on wounds on paper seems pretty good, but in reality, like, I don't know, I just didn't feel like I should probably try and not hold the part of the model that I've just painted. Trying to read off the screen at the same time, dumbass. But yeah, I thought reroll ones would be really good with like the Dreadnought based list, but like, I don't know if, like, I'm trying to keep my lists with like 3 characters, right? Because if you keep your list with 3 characters, you kind of make it hard for the enemy to choose secondaries against you, right? Because 3 characters means that they only get 10 points for Assassinate, which makes Assassinate like an average pick, I guess, at best. So yeah, like to include the Lieutenant in my list, I had to like drop my Librarian or something like that, and yeah, I just didn't feel like he brought all that much value for the points you're paying for him. The Lieutenant does get concealed positions, yeah, so how were you thinking of running him then? Now, like, how do you think you run a how do you make a Phobos Lieutenant valuable in the current Blood I say the current Blood Angels meta, but just rather in the current meta, like how could you get value out of a Phobos? I mean, if you're stood next to like a bunch of these Dreadnoughts, because I'm obviously running a bunch of Dreadnoughts. I'm in 2 minds. I'm playing Andrew's Buggies on Monday night, and I'm either going to run 3 Dreadnoughts, which is going to be 2 Contemptors and a Redemptor, or I'm going to run 2 Redemptors and 2 Contemptors. If you look at Space Marine lists that are winning tournaments right now, they all have multiple Redemptors and multiple Contemptors. I think, or maybe not always just winning, also getting to like the final tables of tournaments. This is what is strongest for Space Marines right now, so I guess including some semblance of that, for me, seems to be shouting out at me, like that's what I need to do if I want to win the tournament. Good evening, Robert, thanks for being here, how are you doing? I hope you're well. Saturday night. I've had a pretty good day actually today. So sort of managed to have my first Saturday where I wasn't like moving in the new house, so I get to chill out a little bit and put some pictures up, and yeah, it's been a pretty cool day, so I'm feeling good. I had a whiskey with dinner as well, so it was the first alcoholic drink I had in the new house as well, so that's nice. But need to get into some painting. Litany giving +1 to wound seems better than Lieutenant. Yeah, I mean, reroll ones when +1, I guess mathematically the +1 is actually slightly better, right? I think, because +1 will be a flat 16% better chance, whereas like reroll ones will be, yeah, you roll ones 16% of the time, but then you'll have to, you have to roll again on your BS of whatever it is, like 3+ or something. So +1 to wound mathematically is better than reroll ones. So if you were going to run a captain to get like +1 to wound on your core units and shooting, that is better than reroll ones to wound. Not by much, but probably by a factor of like 20% more, something like that. So it's definitely a better option if that's something you can run. Lieutenant with concealed positions, I don't know. I don't like lieutenants because they don't have invulnerable saves, so I like my characters to be survivable. And like I said, I try and make picking assassinate against me difficult. Good evening, James. How are you doing? Can a Librarian Dreadnought benefit from a Tech Marine? Absolutely. Why would he not? The only thing about the Tech Marine to be aware of is the Tech Marine's buff is to ballistic skill only. It's not weapon skill. So, and I mean, the problem with Librarian Dreadnought is his weapon skill. It's not so much his ballistic skill, it's his weapon skill of 3 that's the problem. So, awakening a vehicle just gives it +1 to ballistic skill. Or maybe it actually doesn't give it +1 to ballistic skill, it just gives it +1 to ranged attacks. I forget the exact wording, but I know for a fact that it doesn't help with his melee attacks. So, just be aware of that if that was the strategy you were thinking of using. It doesn't work. His paired combat blades are okay. Strength 4 -1, 1 damage. Yeah, I mean, he's a little bit like an incursor. I guess he's not bad, but I don't see how you make him work, or I don't see how you make him super effective. Like, what would you be expecting that lieutenant to bring to the battlefield that, like, is better than what other characters bring? You know, like in my list, I bring the Tech Marine, who's very good at keeping a vehicle alive, very good at making a vehicle hit all the time, because obviously the vehicle will probably be able to hit on 2s, and then also very, I'd say the Tech Marine's pretty good in combat. You know, he gets like 8 attacks. He's only a 100-point model. So like the Tech Marine has all that stuff, the Librarian that I run has a lot of stuff, and then the Chapter Master I run obviously does a lot of stuff as well. So like, where's a Lieutenant doing better than that? I'm not sure. Thanks, still getting used to the keywords. No problem, Daryl. If you have any questions, please just ask. That's what we're here for. I don't always have the answers, but if I don't have the answers, someone in chat definitely will keep us right, because sometimes on our live games on Monday night, people from chat honestly are the MVPs, coming in with the questions answered and the rule corrections and stuff like that. Because sometimes there's so many rules in this game, it's very easy to run into like an edge case where like you're like, can we do this, or can this unit do this? So yeah, we always get some help from the chat. Mastercrafted Oculus bolt carbiners, rapid fire 24, so you can go 12 inches away from an enemy in rapid fire. Other than that, I can't see it worth it. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like I don't know why it would be worth it, right? If you have a full boss lieutenant and you want to run him, I guess the way I would run him is either with conceal position him forwards and then have him join like a Forlorn Fury Death Company, or just run him at the back along next to some sort of dreads to get some bonuses to shooting. I really think that's going to be the 2 best ways you could run him. Beyond that, like, he doesn't do a whole lot in melee. He doesn't do a whole lot with shooting either, I guess. I think and he's got no invulnerable save as well, right? And like I say, like, characters without an invulnerable save, if you're taking too many of them, it kind of opens the door for assassinate for your opponent. So I guess you just have to watch that and make sure that you're aware that that is a thing that will happen. Anything you can do that makes you a bit harder. Remember, you win games both by scoring points and denying your opponents scoring points, right? You don't just win games by scoring points. If you can deny your opponents to score points, then you win the game as well. Good evening to Hit to Wound. Thanks for tuning in on Twitch. Better to take a lieutenant with a shield and follow blade guards. Yeah, I would be on board with that. The lieutenant with the shield, the Volkite pistol and the shield. Like, I like that lieutenant. I think he's the best lieutenant you could take. He's got, I think, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, the 2 damage mastercrafted power sword. I really do think he's the best lieutenant to take. I ran him a lot at the start of 9th edition, actually. And again, it was with like Dreadnought based lists and Blade Guard veterans and stuff like that, and like, I thought he was good. I tried to run him more recently and I didn't like him so much, but I mean, it might have just been, I only ran him in like 1 game and I felt like he was pretty underwhelming. But, you know, if you've only played 1 game, it's hard to get a real read on the situation. I think, again, it was just before a tournament, so I was just trying to work out like a potential tournament list. Alright, I'm just putting on very, very quick coats here of base colours. And I have to do, for this tournament, the model will obviously need to be based, so I'm gonna base this model way earlier in the pipeline than I would normally do. Just because like it will need to be based if I want to run it at the tournament and not lose tournament points. So I'll probably actually spend more time on this base than I will spend painting the entire rest of the model in the next couple of weeks. But I'll get back to it. The Volkite Contemptors are very good right now, I guess. On Monday night that just passed, I feel like every single turn of shooting that Volkite Contemptor did about 5 mortal wounds. So I guess that's why it's valuable to run 2 of them. And they're very good against Drukhari as well, right? Because like one of the problems I had in the tournament that I actually went to, where I almost went 5-0, was on one of the games I actually lost because I failed to open up a couple of Drukhari Raiders. So by adding these, I would 100% opened up those Drukhari Raiders in turn 1. They would have died 100%. The amount of mortal wounds these things kick out every turn is just... Well, I honestly think it's kind of broken. But I kind of want to win the tournament as well, so I'm going to take something that's a little bit... I don't know, I think some of the other armies are more broken than us for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. If there's a lot of Dreadnoughts, you can just use Wisdom the Ancient. You're 100% right, Highland. And then at that point, what's the advantage of the Lieutenant at all, I guess, right? Like, if you know you're just going to Wisdom of the Ancient in, like, turn 1 when you... Because you got 4 Dreadnoughts all around each other or something. Then, yeah, I kind of struggle to find a very good use for a lieutenant in general. The one with the shield, yeah, maybe, but only if you've only got, you know, I really think it's a good idea to try and only have 3 characters on a 2,000 point list. Like, I think if you've got 4 characters in a 2,000 point list, and I mean 6 months ago I might have been running 4 characters myself, but if you've got that now, I would honestly try and drop one of the characters. Just make it very, very difficult for your, like, it just means that they can almost not pick Assassinate against you. And like, typically Bring It Down isn't going to be great either, because like Contemptors are 9 wounds, so they only give 1 point for Bring It Down. So it's like, Assassinate's not going to be good for the enemy, Bring It Down's not going to be good for the enemy. It's two common choices that you can almost eliminate straight away. And I think that's a good thing to do if you can do it. Broken equals Dark Angels. I beat Dark Angels just a couple of weeks back on the channel. It was a close game actually, but yeah, we beat them. I don't know if I think that they're broken. I think they're strong. I think they're maybe a little bit stronger than us, but I don't think they're broken. 4 characters: Captain, Chaplain, Tech, and Sanguinary Priest. It's too many. It's too many points to give up for Assassinate Acrail, and it's also too many points to put into characters. Again, 6 months ago I was running probably 500 points of characters, and I don't think I had a big problem with it, but more recently I just feel like you should probably only be running about 400, maybe 450 points max in characters. Anything more than that, and your list just isn't going to be optimized for tournament play, I guess. I just found out one of my best friends passed on. I'm going to hide. Take it easy, Mark. Sorry to hear that. Tough news. Good evening, Steve. How you doing? Hope you're well. I'm painting Volkites tonight. Because why would you not? Why would we not paint some Volkites? They're very strong. This paint is a little bit too watery. But we're going to play Andrew's Buggies on Monday night, which is the list that Andrew wants to take. Well, I mean, it's not just Buggies. He's basically building a Speed Orc list, isn't he? So we're going to play against Andrew's Speed Orc list on Monday night, and I guess we're going to see how I can do against it, because I think as Marines it's a very, very difficult matchup. Those Speed Orcs, they have too much AP and they have too many 2 damage weapons. for Marines to typically handle. I know I did beat them before, but that was with the Falchion, and that was with a very tailored list. Like, that was with a list I basically built to beat the Speed Orcs. So, without the tailored list, I guess we're gonna see what happens Monday night. So, I don't know, I really want to beat Andrew, but I guess it'll be a tough game. There was a big rumour that there was a new FAQ coming out today, but I guess I didn't see it drop. I checked in the Warhammer community site a couple of times. There wasn't an FAQ today, was there? What about a list that is basically oops all Death Company? I don't like all melee lists. I've said that for a little while on the channel. I think it makes you very dependent on terrain, and you can win or lose games based on the terrain, and I don't like that because I like to at least have some of my skill as a player, I guess, come through. And at the beginning of 9th edition, I was doing all melee lists, and I never did all Death Company, but I did do all melee lists, and I want to say my win rate was never above 50% when I was doing all melee lists. And then when I switched to my approach, which I do now, which is like 50-50 melee, and maybe not quite 50-50 melee, but like at least I'd say in every army I have at least 500 points of like dedicated shooting units, sometimes maybe more. When I switched to that, my win rate went to about probably 90%. I know on the channel over the last year, and I play one game a week, so I really only play like 50 games in a year. I went on like well, my list with my Falchion did a 10 game winning, or it's won all 10 times it's played. I had another list that went like on an 11 game win streak. I had another list that went on an 8 game win streak. The current lists that I'm playing is on a 7 game win streak, so apart from like the odd win here and there, or the odd loss, sorry, most of my plays since I made the switch into like a balanced force. And like, when I say balanced force, it's not a huge investment. Like on some of my lists, it's like I have a couple of Redemptor Dreadnoughts and a squad of attack bikes. That's it, you know? So about 500 points. Ever since I switched to that, my win rate has gone from, like I said, 50% up to 80 or 90%. I've played those lists now so often though, so like, see, if you play this same list all the time, you do sort of get to a point where like you have an advantage because you know the strengths and weaknesses of every unit in and out, which I definitely do. But Null Zone affects their own units as well. Yes, 100% Null Zone affects your own units at Creole. That's why it's good to have it on the Jump Pack Librarian. That's sometimes when you want to advance them to get them further away from your own troops. Latest eBay purchase arrived today. Multi-melters from the Space Wolf Dread. I foresee a Venerable Dreadnought in the future. Nice, nice. Venerable Dreads actually interest me. I actually don't have any, but for the points you pay over the regular Dreadnoughts, I think they're pretty cool. I like the 2+ ballistic skill and also the 6+ shrug, you know? I hope BA gets a Octarius book that lets you make everything in the detachment Death Company. I think a lot of people hope that we get an Octarius book, but I'm not too sure most people want all Death Company. I think all Death Company would struggle a little bit. What's up, Lord Lethargic? Please tell me I'm saying that right. Do you think you could build a competitive All-primaris Blood Angels army? No. Maybe 2 hit to wound. Maybe. You'd have to. Yeah, maybe. Okay, like you could go 3 squads of Redemptor. Sorry, you could take 3 Redemptor Dreads. Redemptor Dreads are like 185 points. Put all the bells and whistles on them. So 3 of them is like 560 points. You could take 3 squads of Incursors. You could take maybe like a couple of squads of Bolter Inceptors, maybe. I guess you'd have to take Blade Guard and maybe Impulsors. So take like 2 5-man squads of Blade Guard and throw them both in Impulsors. Character-wise, I guess you'd want some captain. You'd want like a captain that can go in the Impulsor, and you'd want like you'd probably want like a Primaris Librarian to sit with the Dreads and Psychic Fortress them because they don't have an advance save, and you'd want a Primaris Tech Marine to repair the Dreads. So yeah, maybe you would be buying a lot of the same units, right? Because like there's certain Primaris units that just, in my opinion, aren't good, right? Like aggressors. Like you wouldn't be running any aggressors. You might run a squad of Eradicators. You might run an Invader ATV or two, but the core of the list would be like Redemptor Dreads, Incursors, maybe some Inceptors, and what was the other thing I said? Blade Guard Veteran and Impulsors. It's not ideal because like, are Blade Guard Veterans and Impulsors, how do they compare against Sanguinary Guard? Like, I say the Sanguinary Guard are better in my opinion, but like, I suppose if Blade Guard can just rock up in Impulsors, they do get more attacks than the Sanguinary Guard. They do have the same swords, or I mean, they have the same they don't have the same swords, but they have the same profile in the swords. And Carmite Blades or Carmite Swords are essentially a mastercrafted power sword, which is what the Blade Guards have, right? So yeah, okay, you could probably make a competitive-ish all-primaris list. I mean, it's not going to be the greatest, but I think it would be okay. In a 1.5k list, would you still take a Captain on a bike, upgraded Chapter Master, or go with something cheaper like a Primaris Chaplain on a bike? Lysergic. Okay. In a 1.25k list, Lysergic, I would take the Captain on the bike. I just might not upgrade him to the Chapter Master, right? Like on a smaller game board like that, like, there's more chance the chapter or the captain can just be in range to give his aura out, right, for the reroll ones. So I'd probably cut the 40 points that you would be spending on the I'd probably cut the 40 points you'd be spending on the Chapter Master and just have him as a captain. I don't, I think I ran him as just a captain in a 500 point game before as well, and I mean, it's fine. He's still good. Or, sorry, a 1,000 point game. I didn't play a 500 point game with him. But yeah, I would still use him. I still think he's one of the best characters that we can field, or I think he probably is the best character we can field. And as a captain, he doesn't really lose anything. You just lose the aura. He's still survivable. He's still a beast in combat, Primaris have like 2 jump pack units and both aren't melee. Yes. And Reavers don't get played at all. Greetings all, I'd much rather Firstborn Blood Angels. Yeah, a lot of people always ask, that seems to be a question people ask, like, can you make an all-primaris competitive Blood Angels list? Maybe I should make a video on it, because it is a question that people always ask. I guess maybe it's like new people coming into the hobby and they don't want to buy the old stuff, or they had the old stuff many years ago and they don't want to re-get it, they want to get all the new stuff. So it's a common, you'd be surprised how often people ask, can we do all Primaris and be competitive? And do you know what, maybe 6 months ago if you'd asked me, I wouldn't have known how to answer, but I've played so many games now, I think you could. You'd have, like I said, you'd probably have to buy a bunch of the same units, right? You'd want like 2 squads of Blade Guard Veteran, 2 squads of Inceptors, 3 Redemptor Dreads, 3 squads of Incursors, or I guess 2 squads of Incursors and 1 Infiltrators. But yeah, you'd be buying a lot of the same units, I guess. But I think you could totally make it work. I wonder if we ever see Primaris scale Sanguinary Guard and the 2 different types that stood together look a bit odd to me. I think we will see Primaris scale Sanguinary Guard. I mean, look at the Black Templars. They just got like a giant re-release of like 13 new characters or something. And I think the Black Templar community is smaller than the Blood Angels community, so I'm convinced that we will get something. It's just a matter of when, I guess, right? I mean, they're all... Games Workshop is a company that sell models. Their profits are all coming from models they sell. So there was a survey maybe like a year ago at this point on the Warhammer community forum, and it turned out that like Blood Angels are like one, if not the most popular army. Like we're more in terms of like Space Marines now. I think we're supposed to be more popular than Ultramarines. Like we are one, if not the most popular Space Marine chapters, and Space Marine chapters generally are more popular than the Xenos as well, because I guess like people would. It's probably why, like, if you went and played a Star Wars game, there's going to be more people playing Rebels than playing the Empire, right? Because people want to play what they know, people want to be the good guys, people want to be heroic, and I know Blood Angels aren't always, like, heroic, I guess. In some cases, we're, like, quite, we're, like, vampire-y, but, you know, Blood Angels, I'm sure in the survey it said that Blood Angels were one of the most, if not the most popular. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get new models released, new Sangre Guard, something like that. It's just a case of when, and I guess no one can answer that except Games Workshop, right? Are you magnetizing the weapons? Yes, I have some magnets here that I was going to stick onto these weapons a little bit later. I could probably use a Sharpie, but do you know what? I might have one in this room. I might have to do a tiny little bit of digging, but I think I have a Sharpie. So I am going to magnetize these because my current Redemptor, this one here, is magnets. You can see the magnets in there. It's a little bit messy in those joints there, but there is definitely magnets. So I will be doing that for sure. Probably going to give this guy a second coat of the red as well, just because I'm sure I've missed some pieces, and yeah, I usually like to do 2 thin coats. So I'm probably going to give this guy a second coat, then maybe just do a couple of bits black on him, and maybe a couple of bits grey. I'll do that while these guns dry, and then I'm going to be copying a very simple scheme on these guns that I've got on this one here. So it's very, very simple. Commander, would you consider playing 2 Invictor war suits with Iron Jail, I think you mean something else, Iron Tail autocannons, and 2 Plasma Redemptors in the same list? Regards from good old Germany. I mean, I like Redemptors. I like Redemptors a lot. I do not like tactical war suits. How are you going to use the tactical war suits? Like, are you trying to forward deploy them? Because they're not survivable. That's my problem with the tactical war suits. Like, they're 1 less toughness and they got no duty eternal, right? Who wants to play a Smurf, even power armor? Exactly. No one wants to play a Smurf. You are right, Jarut. Nobody. I play the Empire and order the ATSTs to shoot those helpless Ewoks, says James Richard. Alright, remind me not to piss you off, I guess. I actually have an ATST for the Star Wars Legion game. I was going to make both a Rebel and Imperial army, but after a little while, a bunch of my friends were making Imperial armies, so I decided that I was going to be the Rebel player. But I do have a ATST, and I was struggling to paint it, honestly, because if you know what an ATST is, it's just the entire thing is grey, right? So it's like quite a hard paint job to do. So how's the mold line on these coverings? Well, these are 3D printed coverings, man, and these are surprisingly good. You can see there's a split here at the middle because it came in 2 parts. I used just like a nail file just this nail file just to file it down. But there is a split there in the middle on all these. But I mean, it's okay. It's okay. This is 3D printed as well, this Redemptor. So maybe I could have ordered it from Forge World and got it in time for the tournament. Maybe. But at the same time, like, I think Redemptors are going to get nerfed very quickly, so this guy might just get, like... This guy might get a run out for this tournament, and then that might be him. I might never play him again. we'll see, I guess. Typically, I don't like using 3D printed models. The quality in this one is surprisingly good, I think, but yeah, I just normally I'd rather have the official thing, I guess. So yeah, I mean, Andrew's got a 3D printer and he does a lot of like 3D printing guns and stuff that he doesn't have, or storm shields or multi-meltas for eradicators, but like usually they look pretty low quality or poor, I guess, so I kind of stay away from them. Warhammer in general is like quite a big passion of mine, so I like my stuff to look good. The amount of time, like I was saying the other day, like, you know, I was painting the rims on their feet on the stream, and like I went back and forth on their feet like 5 times or something. A ridiculous amount of effort went into doing these black rims on the Redemptor's feet, and it was like, I asked in chat and like no one else does that, so it's just me wasting my time painting these black rims on models' feet that like nobody can see. But you know, if that's the level of effort I want to put in, and I think that makes my model stand out against their base and they look good, then, you know, like, who is to tell me that that's not allowed, sort of thing. This is the base, though. The base is just the Dreadnought base. You know how you can buy Dreadnought bases straight off the Games Workshop website? So this is just a Dreadnought base. It was like you get 3 of them, and they're the bases that like the new. They're not even new, are they? Like this is the base that like you'd get with the Blood Angels Dreadnought. You know, the one that can be made as the Death Company or the Librarian or the Furioso. So it's just sort of like the standard base, I guess, that comes with sort of slightly newer Dreadnought models. Because I've got a bunch of Dreadnoughts from back in the day, and they never used to have this sort of base with a bit of detail on it. So. Good evening, Commander in chat. Wish my Braves luck in Game 4 of the World Series tonight. Alright, good luck to the Braves. I don't even know what that is. That baseball? We don't really follow baseball here in Britain at all. We follow American football a little bit more now here in Britain, because like American football do those like seasonal games over in like the different stadiums here in the UK. So like each year one team does like a home game and an away game over in the UK, and like that's definitely helped. Like it means that American football's on the TV like at a sensible time, because Monday Night Football, which is usually when you guys play football on Monday nights, is like I think the kickoffs are usually like 7 p.m. Eastern time, and 7 p.m. Eastern time is usually midnight UK time. That always happens with the Super Bowl. Like, I like to watch the Super Bowl, but I only ever watch like the first half, because the kickoff to the Super Bowl is like 11 p.m. on a Sunday night. So the first half's usually about an hour and a half, right? So by the end of the first half, it's like half midnight. Maybe I watch the halftime show and go to bed, and even that is pushing it, because I usually try and be in bed by midnight. So I mean, I can go to bed later, but then I just need to drink a stupid amount of coffee, and I won't be as productive the next day. You know what it's like. Better to pay the points for Redemptors than the Invictors. Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. I would run more Redemptors if you have them, and drop some of the Invictors, or Volkite Contemptors. They are all the rage right now. They're so strong. This is why I'm desperately painting one for a tournament I have in 2 weeks' time, the 13th of November. So I just sprayed this guy this morning. I'm painting his guns next. I think everything else I need for that tournament is already painted, or I mean, some of it's not finished, right? Like these incursors are definitely not finished. Like they haven't had any washes and they haven't had any detail put on them. But the tournament rules will be 3 colors. So this guy's got black, brown, silver, grey, red, yellow, green. So he's got about 7 colors on him. So they're not finished by any means, but they'll be able to be fielded in the tournament. So I was actually thinking maybe I'll spend my £10 voucher from Games Workshop. Remember, if you haven't spent your £10 voucher from Warhammer Plus, you have to spend it this weekend. I haven't spent mine yet. I was thinking I might just get some more incursors. because I I've got 2 squads of infiltrators, 2 squads of assault intercessors. I actually have like 4 more squads of assault intercessors on the sprues, because I got like a bunch of copies of Indomitus, but I never made them all because I didn't think I would need that many assault intercessors. But I actually only have 1 squad of incursors, so I might. I always talk about how good incursors are, and I guess it's just because I've been running the list that only uses 1 troop choice. But I think that's probably going to be the most sensible thing for me to buy, is another couple of squads of incursors, and then that just rounds out my troop choices for this foreseeable future, I guess. Alright, I think I've done enough red on this guy. I think I've basically got good coverage everywhere. Huzzah for 3D printers. Yeah, I mean, they're good. They're surprisingly good nowadays. I'm a huge fan of them, like I said, be honest. But like, one thing that's kind of disgusting is the price cost, right? Like, if you look at like this Contemptor plus these 3 guns on Forge World is like £73. Because these are £11 a time, and then the Contemptor, the Blood Angels one, and I know this isn't the official Blood Angels one, but side by side, I mean, does it look terrible? Looks okay, right? So this on the right isn't the fish. This is on the left is the official Blood Angels one. This one on the left is not. Sorry, the one on the left is the Blood Angels one. The one on the right is not. But this Contemptor and the guns cost me £5.40 or something. So like about 7% of the cost, and that's why I did it, because like I think Contemptors, I honestly am surprised they're not nerfed already. I think they're too good, and I think they will get nerfed. I bought a Furiosa literally 3 days ago, as I was surprised to see the fancy base fall out. Yeah, those fancy bases have been in the box for a lot of years now, Stefan. Built as Librarian Dreadnought. Good for you, Librarian Dreadnought is great. Painting a captain on the bike for now, says a hero for fun. Nice. Jaegerbomb 2. I haven't seen you in the chat for a little while, Jaegerbomb. Hello. Is it easier to use a regular paint or the spray paint? I've tried the sprays and it's a hit and miss. Are you talking about undercoats? I assume you're talking about undercoats and the Citadel sprays for undercoats, because that's what I'm essentially doing at the moment, is undercoats. But please clarify, you're talking about like the rattle cans you get from Games Workshop, like $11.99, or maybe they're different price now, but about $10, I guess. And is it easy to use them? Just painted my Librarian Dreadnought, good model, gave him wings and quickening. It's also nice to sometimes upgrade the Librarian Dreadnought to the Chief Librarian to get those extra powers, if you haven't ever considered that. And Psychic Mastery, I did a video about this just the other day. Psychic Mastery is brilliant. Craig Ritchie, you should look into you should watch the video I put out on the channel the other day and listen to what I had to say about Psychic Mastery, because it's one of the best things you can do, or it's one of the best things you can add, I think, to your Dreadnought if you want its powers to be reliable. If you ever want to play in like a tournament setting and make sure your powers are reliable, then Psychic Mastery is definitely something you need to think about. Got my first Blood Angels match on Wednesday. Alright, cool, good luck. Please, there's a lot, if you've never played a Blood Angels game before, there's a lot of resources on this channel. Videos about primaries, secondaries, watch them all. And leave me any comments. I will reply to you. I get back to all the comments whenever I have time. And someone actually said to me that they won a tournament having never played Blood Angels before, by watching the videos on this channel. So yeah, but thank you so much for the $5, Jaegerbomb. It's appreciated. I've been in Guam, bad internet. Okay, so I like the Games Workshop rattle cans, and I actually use 4 different types of Games Workshop rattle cans. I use the white one. I think it's called Korax White. Let me check.
I've got a bunch of stuff piled up at the back of this room, which is underneath. Yeah, so I use Corax White as one of the sprays that I use. And like if you wound back to the start of this stream, you would see that these guns were white, and I guess these guns still have white bits on them. So you kind of have to start with the spray can, right? Like if you just go ahead and paint straight onto the model, the paint won't adhere properly. You can get paint that's specifically designed as undercoat, but I don't think Games Workshop sell that. So you kind of have to start with the sprays, and so like something like this, where like it's a weapon, so it's gonna have like oranges and stuff in it, like light colors. I'm gonna spray white, and I guess this bit at the top here. We'll give it my camera a second to focus on that. Come on, camera, focus. 1 second. Right, my autofocus isn't working tonight. Why is that? Is it focusing on something else? I'm unsure why the autofocus isn't working. I need to look into that. Maybe I can snapshot, record, camera settings, controls. Apparently no, I cannot change the autofocus. I thought I could. Okay, the autofocus was working well the other week, and maybe is it because there's other stuff in shot? Maybe I just can't get that close. But yeah, so you need to you kind of need to start with spray, and for things like a gun that's going to be all different colors, including light colors like orange, like I mentioned, I would spray white. I also have the Mephiston Red spray, which was what this Dreadnought was at the start of the stream. If you look at this rim, that's Mephiston Red spray, because this guy was sprayed red. This is a brighter red that I painted over the top of it, 2 thin coats over the Mephiston Red. But if you wanted to, you know, like a lot of people use Mephiston Red as a base color for Blood Angels, so Mephiston Red is a great spray to have. And then I also have the Chaos Black spray, and I use that for like when I'm starting with Death Company. And there's also the Retributor Armor spray, which is the gold spray, which I use when I'm doing Sanguinary Guard. For some reason that spray paint costs more money, but like all of them are good, I'd say. And like what's the problem that you're having with the spray? Like because you can spray stuff and it can be like, you can come out and it can be all bobbly and stuff, so I assume that you've used it and you're having a problem with it, right? But so let me know what problem you've been having, and then I'll tell you how to fix it, because I'm sure at some point in the past I have had the same problem and I have fixed it, and there is ways. Whatever problem you're having, there is ways to fix it, right? I also use the Games Workshop varnish, and again, you can have problems, and again, that's just in like a rattle can. I think it's about $12. I think it's called like Minicium Varnish. I mean, if you go to Games Workshop and search varnish, it's going to be the only product. But again, you can have problems with that. Again, there is ways to fix it. So if you've used it, if you've got problems with it, let me know, and I will tell you how to fix that as well. Are you allowed to field 3D printed units in a tournament though? Yes, as long as it isn't like an official GW tournament. GW don't let you field any 3D printed stuff unless you made the models yourself. So if you were skilled with a 3D printer and you managed to make this yourself in like a 3D modeling program and print it, you can use it. And Games Workshop don't let you use any third-party things. And we've talked about that rule before in this channel, which I don't like, the third-party rule, because, you know, like I wanted to do 20 Vanguard veterans with storm shields. Well, I had about 4 storm shields, and I go on eBay and every storm shield is going to be like $5. Well, I'm not spending £100 to buy storm shields, so I bought third-party storm shields. It cost me maybe like £15 for 15 of them, but I guess that screws me for bringing any of my Vanguard vets to GW tournament because they're not official. And if they wanted, I feel like if Games Workshop wanted to do that, surely they should You know, like someone was here earlier today already saying that he'd bought a box of Terminators and they only came with 2 chain fists. So if you wanted to field a squad of Terminators with all chain fists, what's he supposed to do? Go to eBay and get ripped off, or 3D print them? Like, it's 3D printers are going to become more and more common, and if Games Workshop wanted to stamp it out, then they should just... Do you remember back in the day at the back of White Dwarf, all the models were broken down? Like, every individual bit? Like, if you wanted to just buy... I probably have some really old White Dwarfs, so I could probably do a video on that. Maybe that's a good idea for a video. But yeah, very old White Dwarfs, at the back of the models, or the back of the White Dwarfs, everything was broken down. So if you just wanted to buy like a power axe, you could just buy a power axe for like 99p or whatever. And I think that would be way better. Douglas says, haven't managed to tune in a while because I've been moving house. How did your move go? My move went alright, Douglas. Thanks for being here. Nice to see you. I haven't obviously seen you in a while. We're all moved now. There's a few things... You know, there's a few pictures that need put up on the wall. There's some new furniture we need and stuff. That's going to take us maybe like a year to get round to sorting. But we are moved in, and for all intensive purposes, the new house is a lot nicer. So thanks for asking. Craig says, watch the video already. It's my list submitted. We'll look at Psychic Mastery first tournament tomorrow at CCG. Oh, well, good luck. But yeah, Psychic Mastery can help a lot, I think. Forge World models are stupidly priced. I'm not convinced Contemporary Dreads will get nerfed, as without them most Space Marine armies will struggle. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. I don't think they will touch Contemptors until there is new Imperial armor. It's not worth releasing a points balance for 1 or 2 models. Rattle cans are like pulse rifles. You need short controlled bursts. Do you know what, James? That is very true. Rattle cans can be a bit like pulse rifles. One thing I would say is, if you are spraying a model with a rattle can, you would basically do like a sweeping motion, like maybe left to right. So it's like, psh, you know, like maybe like how you're putting deodorant on your underarm, right? You don't just hold it there and go like, psh, or maybe you do. But when I'm doing deodorant, I would definitely like probably try and start like at the top of my arm and just spray like a line across, you know, like so you go like, psh, like one movement across. So like put your model, you know, down wherever you're going to spray it and spray across like and do that from about 6 inches away, and don't do it on like a super humid day, and don't do it on like a super damp day either, which can be difficult in Scotland, right? So you need to do it on like an average day, and then don't move the model for like 5 minutes, and then either turn it 45 degrees, or sorry, 90 degrees I guess, and spray it again like 6 to 12 inches away. Probably closer to 12 inches actually. One, you know, like continuous sprays across and rotate it that way. And if you do that and the model was standing up, you'll probably have a lot of undersides. So I would either then afterwards lie the model down or have it upside down. Some people would stick their model to like a bit of wood so that then they can turn it, you know, and spray it and get all those angles. But yeah, it's good. I think that's the best thing anyone has ever said about rattle cans, James, because I love that movie. The second Aliens movie, short controlled bursts. That is exactly what you need to do when you're using the rattle cans. It's the same with the varnish. If you're using the varnish, it needs to be short controlled bursts as well. So, some people have an airbrush. Yeah, if you don't have an airbrush though, if you don't have an airbrush, rattle cans are okay. Do you know what? I was against buying an airbrush in the last house because I didn't have any room for it. I think once I get my garage cleaned out, I'll maybe get an airbrush. But at the moment, I have a lot of stuff in storage in my garage. So, Games Workshop stores used to have bits you could buy. Yeah, they did. Putting a new list into practice next month, says Mega Miniatures. Thanks for the help. No problem, Mega. You're very welcome. This is what Forge World should do. Upgrade sprues and codexes for all weapon options for all army. So stupid it never has. Yeah, it would probably sell a lot, right? Like people want more weapon options all the time. People buy like Vanguard veterans all the time and feel like they don't have the right weapon options or whatever. So I don't know why they haven't done that yet. Maybe it's a thing we'll get eventually, Highland, but I would like that a lot. I hate buying a box of models and then going like, oh great, so now I need to go. And there are some websites, like there is a company called Bitsbox, I think, here in the UK, and it is a company that just buys the boxes and like sells individual bits. But the problem is all the good bits go really, really fast. For example, Bitsbox sometimes have Reaver kits on it, and everybody wants the Reaver helms and nobody wants any other parts of the Reavers. So if you could get on there when they release the Reaver helms, you get some great deals, but 90% of the time you're just like, bits and kits is also a good one. Thanks for pointing that out, Mega. So if you are in the UK, there are some options where you can get you can pick up the bits you need, but it is annoying to have to go to that third-party reseller. Like, for me, I would much rather just get it from Games Workshop, and I think they'd probably make a lot of money, right? Like, I don't get why they don't sell it, because it's obvious now that people don't, you know, like maybe 10 years ago or maybe 5 years ago. Alex V, thank you so much for subscribing. Maybe 5 years ago or something, if you couldn't get the bits, let's use the example of I forget who it was when the channel, at the start of tonight's stream, someone said that they'd bought a box of Terminators and they don't get enough chain fists in the box, and I was like, yeah, I know, it's annoying because chain fists are the best option right now in my opinion. Sorry, whoever said that, I forgot who you were, right? But you know, maybe 10 years ago, there was no other option, right? People weren't selling Warhammer bits on eBay or whatever, and there's no third parties, you know, there's no sites really like Bits and Kits. I actually don't know how many years those guys have been around, but I only found out of them maybe like 2018. So maybe back then what happens is people actually do buy a second box, but nowadays people don't. I mean, like, usually in most people's hobby groups now, it seems like there's at least one person with a 3D printer. You know, like, and Andrew's really good. If I sent Andrew a message saying, hey Andrew, I really need a power sword for an assault intercessor, honestly, like the next day at work, he would just like drop a little bag. It's like he's delivering me drugs. He just drops a little plastic bag on my desk, and in the little plastic bag there'll be like an assault intercessor, and it's like this power sword for an assault intercessor, right? So like, and he never asks for money. I've given him money a few times because, like, you know, he's always been 3D printing stuff for me. Like, anytime I need anything, even on short notice, he would print it for me. And Andrew's the guy that's printing those objectives that we use on the stream, you know, the big round ones. So like, he's really, really good, and he never asks for money. So I've given him money a few times to say thank you, and, you know, like, I asked him to buy like red plastic one time because I wanted some stuff. I wanted the objectives in red and didn't want to paint them or whatever. Maybe I should paint them though. I suppose that would look kind of cool. But regardless, you know, people are doing it. People are obviously 3D printing stuff now because it's easy to do and it's cheap to do. So if Games Workshop wanted to shut it down, why don't they just sell the bits? Like, just sell the bits. If it was, you know, like, I don't know. I feel like if they sell the bits, I would buy the official bits, because, like I said, I prefer having the official bits. I might be the minority, but like, I do always think the official bits have higher quality, and I do like buying them. Or I do like all my models to be official, I guess. But it is what it is, I guess. Why they don't sell the official bits is beyond me, because I think they'd make a killing, right? Like, same with Sanguinary Guard wings. You know, like, some people don't like the wings on Sanguinary Guard, so I guess they buy the box of the Sanguinary Guard, they make the Sanguinary Guard, they sell the wings on eBay. And honestly, that's probably a godsend, because like, I built a lot of Sanguinary Guard by buying secondhand wings on eBay. You know, and like, I want my other characters, like my library. I don't think I have wings on my Librarian, but I have wings on my Sanguinary Priest. I really wanted a set of wings on my Sanguinary Priest. What am I going to do? Am I going to buy another whole box of Sanguinary Guard to get wings on my Sanguinary Priest? No, of course not. I'm going to look on eBay. The money I would have spent on rattle cans has been paid off to me quite well with investment into airbrushing. I paint a lot, though. I painted more before I started doing this channel, Reziel. And I guess the reason that I painted more before was because I wasn't doing the channel, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword for me in that, like, because yeah, when I wasn't doing the channel, I would have like 4 or 5 nights a week to paint, but like now that I make videos for the YouTube channel, I only have like 2 nights to paint. So in some ways that's kind of a little bit frustrating, but like I love doing the YouTube stuff, so I guess I'm just live with the fact that I paint a little bit slower now. What can you do? I actually watched your second video, or your third video on your channel, Riziel. I found it, and I think I subscribed to you as well, so congrats on getting your third video up. I like the fact that you were just like walking through the woods as well in your third video. I was like, oh, cool. Where do you live, by the way? Because the weather looks way better than where I live right now. There are a lot of units where weapons are sparse. Vanguard Veterans only has 4 shields and 4 right-handed claws. Death Company only has 1 Thunderhammer. Yeah, the Death Company only having 1 Thunderhammer is so stupid, isn't it? I think I was lucky and I'd bought a box of like Assault Marines, and the Assault Marines had some one-handed Thunderhammers. So I made one of my Death Company, like the Assault Marines, I actually had an arm that had like a grenade. So one of my Death Company has like a Assault Marine Thunderhammer, which he holds with one hand, and his other arm is just like held out holding a grenade. So it looks kind of weird compared to the rest of the Death Company, but I was like, yeah, that's a good example. Death Company having 1 Thunderhammer when like everybody advises at least 2 hammers for every squad, or some people are running like all Death. Like, some people are running squads of 5 Death Company with 4 or 5 Thunderhammers now. So, you know, no one's gonna buy 5 boxes of Death Company to make 5 with 5 Thunderhammers. It's probably quite restrictive on new people joining the hobby as well, right? Imagine the kind of infrastructure and storage GW need to break down their kits and store bits, parts, and fulfill orders online for individual components. I mean, they already have all these sprues, right, Thilmark? Right, like, they obviously have sprues for Thunderhammers. So couldn't they just make, like, you know the sprue you get in a box? Couldn't they just sell a sprue with 10 Thunderhammers on it, right? $20. And then couldn't it like as a box with just Thunderhammers on it, and let's say you don't need 10 Thunderhammers, you probably will in the future, and or you maybe have a friend that could use a couple of Thunderhammers, so you just buy the box of 10 and speak to your friend and be like, hey, I'm gonna buy this box of 10 Thunderhammers, do you want a couple? And you would get loads of trades and stuff, right? Like, oh well, I'm gonna buy the box of 10 Lightning Claws, I tell you what, I'll swap you 2 or 3 arms of Lightning Claws for 2 or 3 Thunderhammers. Yes, no problem. That would be great. That would honestly be the best thing they could do. But you know, I obviously don't work for Games Workshop, and it's just my opinion. So feel free to take my opinion and flush it down the toilet. GW sculpt everything in CAD. They could literally take any single part you want, pop it in a slicing software, and run it off. They could do made to order easily, says James. I don't know about the logistics of it, but I like the idea. That's what GW has forced you to do, so it's perfectly acceptable. My brother and I share bits. He is Raven Guard, so I get to steal the ornate stuff. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. Share bits. That would be cool if we could share bits, but yeah, maybe one day. Alright John, congrats on 3 grots and a Vox. I loved it just on my honeymoon and glad the house move went well. Take care of yourself. Chris, thanks so much for dropping in on your honeymoon. That's dedication to the channel. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great honeymoon. I'm glad that you enjoyed our grots and a Vox episode as well. We had some good fun filming them. We've actually filmed the next episode as well. Release date to be confirmed, I guess. I think the second episode is actually an improvement on the first two, but you know, you got to start somewhere, I guess. They just need to make special upgrade sprues like the... Yeah, I think so, Chris. That's what I'm trying to say, like an upgrade box of Thunderhammers, I guess. I guess it wouldn't actually be like a full box, it's more like an upgrade box. Upgrade box of Thunderhammers. You can get 10 Thunderhammers in the box, or you can get 10 Storm Shields. I mean, they do that with jump packs, right? If you go to gamesworkshop.com, you can buy 5 jump packs. It's about the only thing you can do, or it's about the only individual part you can buy. I think you can also buy like plasma guns or something weird that no one's buying. I guess GW think they make more money selling full kits and charging for all the plastic you buy, especially when you're buying plastic you don't need. Yeah, I wonder, Mark. I just wonder if there's a barrier there. Because, like, I will never buy another full box for a weapon or something. I'll just, you know, or a storm shield or something. Like, it will either be eBay or a third party or something. But I'm not going to spend 20-30 bucks. Would you replace a power sword or chainsword in a 5-man Death Company squad with a Thunderhammer? Yes, I think that in Death Company, the ratio you should be aiming for is 1 Thunderhammer for every 5 models. I think that is the strongest way you can run Death Company. Some people like to go slightly more, like maybe like in a 10-man Death Company have 3 Thunderhammers. I'm 100% fine with that. I think that's good too. But I think minimum for every 5 models in Death Company, you want 1 Thunderhammer. Some people like to go... I've had a few people tell me that Power Fist and Infernal Pistol is also really strong, because Power Fist is basically the same cost. Power Fist and Infernal Pistol is the same cost as Thunderhammer. I don't think personally it's quite as good, because you obviously get more attacks with a Thunderhammer, so you're more likely to do the damage, and the Infernal Pistol it's just one shot. It can be hit or miss, but I don't hate the idea of that either. So you could go that way, but I think one Thunderhammer in every 5 is probably the best way to do it. The first episode is especially long. Yes, we have tried in episode 2 to keep it a bit shorter, Highland. I think maybe, like I said, I think we're gonna learn, and we're gonna try and make each episode an improvement on the last one, I guess. Cheaper, isn't it? Well, I think I said... Did I say a Power Fist and an Infernal Pistol? Power Fist is 10 points on the Death Company. So it's the exact same 15 points, Highland Phoenix. If you take the Power Fist and the Infernal Pistol on the same model, I guess, right? It would be the same 15 points. I imagine you would take it on the same model because you'd want that to be the last model alive. If the squad's getting targeted, so I imagine you would want it on the same model, right? I'm getting some value out of this Fire Dragon Blight, because this is a paint I've barely ever used. The focus is definitely bad on this thing tonight. I don't know why. Oh, there's an autofocus lock button I'd pressed. There we go. Alright, we're focusing now. I'm an idiot. Jaegerbomb, I hope I answered your question. Please let me know if you still have any more questions about rattle cans. But if I was going to be doing models that are based with Mephiston Red, I would totally get the Mephiston Red spray. Not looked at Power Fist and Death Company in a while. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really used them in 9th edition Power Fist on a Death Company at all, right? Power Fist kind of took a little bit of a nerf bat because of all the -1 damage stuff kicking around. So I think that's why I still prefer Thunderhammers as the option for Death Company, but like, I guess if you're not in a meta where if you're in a meta where you're never coming up against enemies that have -1 damage, I guess Power Fists and Infernal Pistols is probably on a par with the Thunderhammers. It's just a slightly different way to play, I guess. Can you hit friendlies with an Infernal Pistol? I have no idea if you can hit friendlies at all in 9th edition. Do you mean by accident or do you mean on purpose? Like, why would you want to hit your friendlies? I don't even know if you're allowed to target your friendlies. I can't imagine you are. I have 5 Death Company with Thunderhammers all painted up and another 20 dudes that are just primed through. Yeah, Death Company take a while to paint, don't they? I have a lot of them. I have a lot of Death Company unpainted because edge highlighting on black, it's fine. It's just time consuming, isn't it? I don't think you can target your own units in 9th. Yeah, I've never tried, honestly. But I can't think of anywhere in the rulebook it says you can target your own units. Was there an edition you could target your own units in it? And if so, did I just miss that edition? Hey Burgosaurus, good evening, how you doing? Nice to see you. But yeah, so Orc Buggy's on Monday night. And I think he's added some of those Orc Flyers, so it's basically just a very meta speed Orc list that we'll be fighting. So, guess we're gonna see how that goes. It'll be pretty interesting, to be honest, because I have almost no idea. I only played those Orc Buggies once, and they do so much damage to Marine units. I was kind of tempted to maybe put like a squad of like incursors really far forward, and the second he shoots them, just smoke screen them and transhuman them. I know it's going to cost me 2 CP, but it might mean that like a round of Buggy's fire is wasted and another round of Buggy's fire needs to go at the same target. It seemed like a way that would just like mess with his shooting phase a little bit, but I don't know. Like Reziel said, there isn't much you could do. When JW had pie plate templates, it was possible to damage your own units. Oh yeah, I guess when you used to be able to scatter, didn't you? Vortex grenades and stuff like that were always fun with the scatter. We actually have a couple of copies of the old 2nd edition in the room where we play. Maybe some night we'll wind the clock back and play a really old edition of 40k. It would probably take the whole day though, because we'd have to look up every single rule because every single thing will be different. $1,500 points Tau versus Blood Angels. Well, good luck with that. Don't underestimate the Tau shooting, because apparently that's what I did on Monday night and it almost came back to bite me. Tau shooting is actually still legitimately... I know everyone says Tau is weak, but they can pump it out from the shooting, so watch yourself for that. You could fire into combat and 50-50 hit your own unit. I do remember that. I don't remember which edition it was, but I do actually remember that. I figured maybe you could accidentally hit units if they're standing in front of them. No, there's none of that involved anymore. Typically, if a unit is standing in front of another one, it doesn't even block line of sight these days, you know, because usually, like, it's any part of your model can see any part of the enemy. So if you have a model with a banner or something, you can use that part of the model or a gun or a barrel or anything, you know, to be able to draw a 1 millimeter line to the enemy model. And if you can do that, then you can shoot them. So yeah, it's just not a thing anymore. I was going to say, if you can shoot your own models, I've missed it, and I definitely skipped over that part in the army book, or the rule book, I guess. What do you think of the BA lists that are mainly built on just Sanguinary, Death Company, and Vanguard? They get a few mentions on Goonhammer. They definitely do mega miniatures, and you know, we had the guy on the channel, Jack Harpster, he's the guy that was running them. To like a 3rd place finish at the US Open. I don't like them, I guess is the way to put it. I know you can make them work because obviously he has, but like, I think you are a little bit, well, I think you're a little bit terrain dependent if you want to run a list like that. Like, it's not super terrain dependent, but if you come up on a table against like a Tau army, for example, we just talked about, and there's nowhere for you to hide, you're going to have a really bad day, or you're going to have a really rough game. In the Orlando Open, there was a ton of terrain and there was a ton of obscuring terrain, so Jack obviously knew that and made the list. And I think he did actually say in the interview that I did with him that he felt like it was a bit of a meme list, to be honest. Like, so he didn't think the list would do well until he actually saw the terrain. He was like, wow, they're going to cover half the map with terrain, then I think this is going to do really well. But yeah, if you go onto the channel, like the actual page for the channel, you know, like, and scroll down, I have a playlist on the channel called like competitive army lists, and the most recent one in there I think is my army list, but the one before that was like Jack's list, and it's like a 45-minute interview where I just talked to him about his list and what I thought it was strong at and what he did well with it. And yeah, I think I put in like a little disclaimer, like I tried to run lists like that in 9th edition and my win rate was not high, and I feel like I'm a good player, or I feel like I'm an above average player, I guess would be the way to put it. So as an above average player, I felt like I should be winning above average the number of games I played, and I definitely wasn't. And then I made this change to not just essentially have all eggs in one basket. Highland Phoenix actually wants me to make a t-shirt, because it used to be for Blood Angels ABC, right? And ABC used to mean always be charging. So Highland Phoenix wants me to make a t-shirt when I get some more subscribers that's, remember, I think he'll type it in the chat, but I think the quote he wants it to be is, remember, it's not ABC, it's BAC. And I guess on the BAC, what that means is you balance your list. So you have some threats that you can do ranged attacks, and in my list it's usually Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are a really strong place right now. So you balance some ranged attacks and some melee attacks, and you make things work that way. And that's how I have been playing, and I guess that's how I like to play, and that's how I have a good win rate. And that's exactly what I'm doing for this tournament in like 2 weeks' time. And apart from that speed arc list, I'm feeling slightly confident about the tournament. I have been winning since I haven't lost a game since I finished that last tournament, and in that last tournament I only lost one game, so I'm feeling pretty good. I got a bit more experience from the last tournament. I played up against Thousand Suns. I'm maybe not super familiar against Custodes at the moment, or Harlequins, but I beat Harlequins at the tournament, and I kind of know... Yeah, I'm not super familiar with Custodes, so I guess I've got that to deal with. Is that a knight or some Titanicus? I'm painting a Contemptor Dreadnought, if that's what you're asking. Evolution of Gaming. This one? How is it with Thousand Suns and all their mortal wounds? Well, I mean, I'm running a list that purposely has Soul Warden, right? So I have a way to counter mortal wounds, I guess. And I do like Soul Warden. I do kind of think it's worth having. Like in your army lists, it's going to cost you what? Look at the strength of these magnets. Bloody hell! It's quite a lot. That's quite a distance for such a small magnet. Look at it. Bloody hell, I can't get them apart. It's in the thumbnail. Yeah, this is a Relic Contemptor Dreadnought in the thumbnail tonight. I run Soul Warden, which obviously helps protect against mortal wounds, right? So, and I think that as the meta continues with all the mortal wounds, I think Soul Warden is a really good... Oh shit, I'm not going to have enough of those bigger magnets. Alright, we're going to have to use some smaller ones as well. Balls. Do I not have any more super thin ones? Hold on, how many are you going to need? Oh, I've got just enough. Wow, okay. Alright, I'm lucky, I guess. Take some plastic cards and use that to separate them. Yeah, that's a cool idea as well. Okay. So this guy already has some magnets on him. This guy does not. So I'm going to grab a Sharpie real quick. I think I've got one just over here. Let's say Tau shoot you off the objective, they don't move forward onto it, you move models onto it next turn, they shoot you off, the cycle continues without them claiming anything off you. Yeah, Tau is a tough game right now. It sticks to the steel blade of the knife easily, that is a very good point. I do have a knife kicking around here somewhere. Give me 1 second, I'm going to grab a Sharpie. You know what, I'll grab my knife as well because, yeah, the reason I'm grabbing the Sharpie is so that I can get the polarities right, because that always comes back to haunt you if you don't. Plus, it means that sometimes I had it before, right, where I dropped one of these magnets on the floor, and these are really dangerous if you swallow them or something like that because they're so strong, right? So, I had... You guys know I have a very young daughter, right? So I dropped one of these magnets on the floor, the smaller ones than this, like the really tiny ones, like one of these like 0x0 magnets. And I was like, oh shit, I can't find it. I've looked everywhere for it, right? So I end up hoovering the entire room, hoovering the chairs, hoovering everything, and I basically shut the door and I said to my wife, like, do not let the daughter into the room because I've dropped a magnet on the floor and it's one of those tiny magnets and I for the life of me cannot find it. Like, I've been looking for hours. And then like a week went past and like I'd be keeping shutting the door and stuff so that she couldn't go into that room. I took my glasses off one night, right? And I was like rubbing my eyes like this. And I looked down and like attached to the blade of my glasses was like the little magnet. Like, it's so small, it had just been in there. I don't know how it had got... I think what must have happened was I must have been working with the magnets. I'd take my glasses off for a second and put it down. You saw the polarity in the magnet must have snapped onto the glasses, and then I just put my glasses back on, and then it was like, oh shit, I've dropped that magnet, you know, like, and yeah, so that was a fun incident, I guess, with these magnets. So hopefully we won't drop any tonight. Do you know what? These are slightly bigger than the ones that I've got on here, but that's fine. So the reason that I take the Sharpie is because I'll put it on here and then I'm going to colour in one side. So the side I'm going to colour in is the side that's going to need to get stuck to the gun. And honestly, I'm going to let that dry there for a few minutes. And then on the other two sets, I'm just going to, again, it's going to be the side that's stuck to the model. So I'm going to colour in these sides. Excuse me. And then I'll flip it over. I'll check that's, yeah. Okay, so I'll leave them for a minute to dry as well. I'll maybe actually stick that to the knife like somebody just said there so that we don't lose them. Cool. What's the anti-mortal wound tactic? Making notes now. It's the Warlord trait Soul Warden. I run it on my Tech Marine. You can run it on any character you want, I guess, but it's all Blood Angels units. Doesn't matter if you're core or character or anything, it's just all Blood Angels units within 6 inches of the Warlord that has the trait get a 5-up shrug against mortal wounds. So if you just want a 5-up shrug against all mortals, which is going to be very useful against an army that does a lot of mortals, Soul Warden. I was telling it that I called a BA win, even if it's super heavy win, I just couldn't see how Tau can survive the damage. Yeah, I think I got an advantage in that Tau game in that, like, Rennie isn't super experienced. He's a newish player. I think against a veteran Tau player, that game could have been a loss for me. I did try and talk Rennie through all the things he did wrong afterwards as well, because, like, it is nice to have another army on the channel, and you know, Rennie actually, I mean, I haven't talked to you guys much about, I have one power sword with a magnet on it I used to match all the polarity. That's pretty clever as well, actually. So I used to play a lot of real-time strategy games like StarCraft. Some of you guys might have noticed right here, that is the StarCraft 1 Collector's Edition, none of the StarCraft 2 pish. That is StarCraft 1. The first one from like 1994, maybe even before that. And like nobody has that StarCraft 1 Collector's Edition. Go onto eBay and you will not find it. Nobody has it. I just randomly bought it when I was a kid. I didn't know that StarCraft was going to be such a big thing, but like, me and Rennie played a lot of StarCraft, right? And it is in some ways it's kind of just Warhammer, right? Like it's just I mean, what is RTS if it is not Warhammer but on a computer in real time, right? It's the same thing, only rather than maybe have a set amount of army, you build a base, right? So yeah, Rennie and I played like a lot of StarCraft, and Rennie is a very good StarCraft player. So I think with enough games of Warhammer under his belt, and like with a decent codex to back him up, Rennie will actually be a very good player. So he only started Warhammer this year, so I think he said it was like his 4th game. So yeah, give him a little bit of time. I think he'll be good, and it'll be one more army onto the channel that we don't get, you know, when. Because I'm trying desperately to get, like, I'm still trying to get Dark Elder player in the meta. It may be a case of, like, I might just make Dark Elder as a second army at some point. I ran Soul Ward and Chaplain on a bike against Admech with some snipers and Electro Priest, and I managed to save quite a bit of mortal wounds. I highly recommend it as a Warlord trait. Yeah, I mean, I've been running Soul Warden as a Warlord trait now for probably about 10 games, so maybe like 2 months. And some games it gives you no value, sure, but it feels like in more and more matchups now, being able to shrug off mortal wounds is becoming very, very important. So I like Soul Warden a lot. I have no intention of dropping it. In fact, like, it's one of the staples of my list right now. It's just like, if I'm building a list, there needs to be a character in there that can take Soul Warden. And I guess that character needs to be in the key position in my list to... do you know the history of StarCraft and Warcraft and 40k? I don't know the history, but wasn't the rumour that like Games Workshop asked Blizzard to make them an RTS and they came up with StarCraft or something, and one of the companies didn't like it or something? I really don't know the full details, but if you look at StarCraft, you have Protoss, which are basically Eldar, you have Zerg, which are basically Tyranids, and you have Marines, which are basically Marines, right? I mean, they even have basically Dreadnoughts, which are called Goliaths, and tanks, which are basically like... Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys want to fill me in the history, but StarCraft is basically 40k, or vice versa, or something like that, right? Every Space Marine Volkite, every competitive Space Marine list has 2 Volkites, Grey Knights and Thousand Suns, both dish a lot. Yes, this is my second Volkite, and this is for my competitive list. Phoenix Point is nice if you like XCOM. I do like XCOM. It's actually one of my favourite PC games. I'm kind of waiting for XCOM 3, but the Grey Knights game that's being released, is it like next year? I think it's called Chaos Gate. Looks like it is a clone of XCOM, and if it is a clone of XCOM, then great, because I really liked both XCOM Enemy Unknown and the second one. I forget what the second one was called. Maybe it was just called XCOM 2, was it? Oh, they did an expansion. I think it was called XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. But I love both those games. They're very tactical. I guess in some ways, StarCraft is 40k and XCOM is kind of like Kill Team, right? I was actually surprised that there is no game like XCOM that is like that is 40k already, because it would work very well, and I believe there are some 40k mods for XCOM. StarCraft was what Blizzard transformed into the 40k RTS they were originally going to make. There was a deal that fell through. Phoenix Point is made by the same people. I'll check it out. It was exclusive on Epic. Yeah, it's on Steam now, but it was exclusive on Epic for like a year, I guess. I tried Phoenix Point. I didn't get into it, but I think I did play all the XCOM. What was the expansion? I think it was called... They did 2 expansions for XCOM 2, I think. They did one called War of the Chosen, and they did another one, and I played both. I'm looking forward to XCOM 3, but I'm excited about the Chaos Gate one as well, because not that I have any love for Grey Knights, but I have a love for that sort of strategy, micromanagement. And I'm gonna try and get a new computer next year, because the computer I'm streaming on, or the computer that I do everything on, especially my video editing, is so slow. Like, sometimes I create like a 15-minute video and it takes like an hour to render. So I'm going to try and get a new computer next year, and if I get a new computer, then I'm going to stream that new Chaos game, because or the new Grey Knights game that is, I think, called Chaos Gate. The trailer makes it look like very, very XCOM. There's Guardsman mods, Kriesman mod, and Space Marine mods. What was Mechanicum? It was supposed to be like XCOM. I don't know, I never played Mechanicum. I want a 40k Battlefield game. Yeah. And Inquisitor was kind of like Diablo. There was also another one that was kind of like Diablo, Chaos Bane. And I played Chaos Bane at a conf. It was actually at. I went to Warhammer Fest the year before the pandemic, I think. So like Warhammer Fest 2018, and they had booths there, you know, like for video games. And at Warhammer Fest there was a game called Chaos Bane. Yeah, Chaos Bane, which basically looked like a. I guess it's basically Diablo, but like in the Warhammer Fantasy universe. Like I don't think it's Age of Sigmar. I think it was like the old fantasy world. And I played it, and I've been meaning to buy it on like PlayStation, but I like to buy games when they're cheap because I don't get a lot of time to play games. So like, there's zero point me buying a new game for like £45 or something, because like by the time I get to play it, or by the time I complete it, everyone else will, like, no one else will be playing it. So I always wait and get games when they're on like a £10 sale, or you know. And video games are on sale all the time. Steam has sales all the time. Black Friday's coming up soon. I don't know what sales they'll be on, but you know, video games and Black Friday, they're like, there's always going to be something to buy, right? Or there's always going to be something on sale. So Armour 3 mod is pretty cool for 40k. I wish GW were not so stingy with their IP. Notice that they want to make large player army games that could take away from their model sales. I mean, the models are their primary business, so there's got to be something to be said about protecting model sales. They have done Total War though, right? Total War has a lot of units in it, right? I don't know. I only played the first Total War, and I know they've done Total War 2, and I think they're making Total War 3 now. But Total War let you play as a lot of different factions and a lot of different units. I guess maybe it's all world only, but like, I would be surprised if in the future there isn't like a 40k Total War, right? Or something like that. Because I think this is their, like I said, this is their third Total War game, I guess. So the Total War games must be making like genuinely good money. And I think there was something on Steam that they said, like, I could be wrong here, but I thought it said that they sold like 1 million copies of Total War. There's like websites called like Steam Spy and stuff where you can actually see like how many people have bought each game. So maybe it was somebody on like Steam Spy was saying like, you know, Total War has done very well, I guess. Or yeah, they wouldn't be on a third expansion if it hadn't. But I suppose back in the day you had Dawn of War, and Dawn of War had a lot of different factions and stuff. So it's probably just the right developer needs to come in at the right time for the right license. We could do a Space Marine multiplayer evening one night on stream, perhaps. I think I have Space Marine. I might have it on like the PlayStation 3 actually, so maybe I have to check if I've got it on Steam. But yeah, you know, having the right developer doesn't always work either, because like if you look at Star Wars, right? Like for a while there it was like Electronic Arts were the only company that were going to make Star Wars games, and as far as I know, like Disney now have like canned that deal, and Electronic Arts were the only company allowed to make Star Wars games for like 5 years, or was it even 10 years? Because I think it was 5 years, and like the Electronic Arts have like more money than God. Go look at how much money Electronic Arts have. You know, they make like $1 billion off FIFA like every year, and their Star Wars games were crap. Battlefront, I think I bought Battlefront and Battlefront 2, and like, I mean, maybe they weren't crap, but for me, they just didn't have any depth. Like, I played the first Battlefront for like 2 weeks and was bored. The second Battlefront, I mean, I didn't even play it for like a week. I was like, oh wow, this is just the same. Whereas like, yeah, I don't know. So just sometimes having that giant developer doesn't always. Games can be fickle like that, I guess. So who knows? I guess. Smearing my paint around. Alright, look, we did his feet, guys. That was, you know, I always talk about doing their feet with that black rim. Look at that. That is some sexy feet. This Dreadnought has been to the Nike store. That's what we were talking about the other night, right? So if your Dreadnoughts have not been to the Nike store, then you need to give them the Go Faster black trim round their feet. EA screwed up Star Wars hard over Battlefront 2. Yeah, I don't even... A few of my friends played... Like, Brett was a big Battlefront 2 fan, and he loved it. Oh, that was it. There was loot boxes. They went crazy on the loot boxes in Battlefront 2. Yeah, I didn't buy it at launch. I read, like, I saw the whole internet going mental about them putting loot boxes in from, like, for leveling up, and I just didn't buy it. I bought it since in like a £10 sale, like I said, like, because if you wait long enough, every game comes down to £10 eventually. But like, I didn't play it, and I also bought that Star Wars Squadrons game for like £12, and I thought it was pretty poor. Fallen Order by EA was good, so I didn't buy Fallen Order, but I got one of my friends lent me it on PS4, and it was really laggy. You rimmed it, John, sure. Thanks, Highland, I appreciate that. So maybe Fallen Order was good on the PC, but honestly the performance on the PlayStation 4 was kind of disappointing. Anytime you like looked over the map and like saw a large chunk of the map, like the frame rate was pretty poor. Poorer than I would have hoped, I guess, for like a PS4 title. Come on, you little magnet. There we go. Alright, so the black side on these two magnets needs to be stuck to the weapons. So that's where we'll start. If I see a game and I know it wouldn't be popular unless it's Star Wars, I always say pass. I have so much contempt for EA. Yeah, EA are a weird one. So I guess be happy that they're not making Warhammer stuff, but yeah, it's a tough one. You know, like, yeah, GW need to be a little bit protective over their IP and stuff, sure, but at the same time, I think they do actually give it out reasonably okay. It's just, is the problem maybe it's just hard? I mean, maybe it's just hard to make a really good game, I guess. It's you know, video gaming has changed landscape from where it was like a few years ago. Like, you know, games have huge budgets now, and if you aren't a company that has a giant budget, then you're probably not going to produce like an amazing game. So I don't know. How do you make holes for the magnets to fit? So these ones I'm being very lazy, Arc Royal, in that like I'm just sticking these two, like I'm not making any holes. So what you'll get is, and I think I was going to say, do I have one of the las cannons that I usually have on here lying around and I can show you? I might, one sec. Yeah, I probably do, just in this box right here. Yeah, so on this contemptor here, which is the official GW one, I've just stuck the magnet to the top, like that is the gun part here, right? And you can see I've just literally stuck the magnet to the top of it and painted over it. So if I stick this on, it's not totally flush in there, right? You can see like that, like maybe I can point it out. Like there's a small, like I could put my knife in there. There's a small gap between the two arms, but like you're never going to see the model like that. It's going to be standing on the table 12 inches from your vision at least, right? So like, can you see that there's the tiniest little gap there? probably not. If that bothers you, that bothers you. I guess. So that's how I've done these ones. But I do actually own like a little hand drill. I don't think I've got it on stream, but I'll show you. It's just here. So I bought this on Amazon for about £7. So you can find one on the Games Workshop website for about, I think it's like 20 or 25. But like, it's just a tiny little drill, but it's a hand drill. So you just drill it with your hand, you know? And like this one was from Amazon for like £7, and you can see here like it comes with a bunch of different drill sizes. So I don't have anything I can just drill into, but trust me when I say that you would just hold this here and you would just drill with your hand like so. Can I drill into this knife? Probably not. But I think if I drilled long enough, I think it would actually make a hole in this knife. Yeah, look, it's making a tiny little hole. So, yeah, it's just like a little hand drill. You just find a drill bit that's as big as the magnet that you want to magnetize, and you just drill a hole with your hand. I mean, it takes a few minutes, I guess, to drill the holes. But it's generally pretty easy to do. And like I said, if you want to be lazy, and I am definitely being lazy here, on like, if you were magnetizing like a arm on an infantry model, then I'd probably drill a hole like into the infantry guy's chest, or like into his shoulder socket, I guess, and also into his arm, and then put tiny little magnets in. And I just get these magnets off eBay. These are probably, like, I could probably get away with smaller magnets, but I didn't realize how few magnets I actually own at the moment. So these are probably actually quite a bit bigger than they need to be, because you saw in the last cannon the magnet was like smaller than the circumference of this thing. But these are the only magnets I have, and I need them for this tournament next week, and I want to paint over the magnets. So that's what I'm doing tonight, I guess. But, yeah, so on this arm section, I guess I could drill in there. And then, but, like I said, I don't have any smaller magnets, so I'm just going to stick the magnet to it. And, like, these magnets are only 1 millimeter in thickness. So you'd add, like, 2 millimeters to the thing. I mean, you could also just chop this here, I guess. You could chop that bit off. Your call, I guess. GW has never been more liberal with their licensing. They let anyone use it, hence loads of trash games. The presumption is to license as much as possible and someone will make something decent. Star Wars isn't totally dead, but they've been trying hard to kill it. I think they've been trying hard to make it better. They just haven't hit the mark with Star Wars. See you later, Riziel. Thanks for hanging out. You're right, you can't even see them, especially on the tabletop. Yeah. I think that's sort of my yeah, I mean, like, you can go to as much or a little effort as you want, I guess. So I'm doing pretty low effort on this magnetizing on the Dreadnoughts, but like the Dreadnoughts are so big and the guns, here's the thing, if you put on too small a magnet on some of these dreads, you'll end up like with the guns being a bit wobbly, and I've definitely done that before where I've put on a smaller magnet, or and the Dreadnought guns have wobbled all around. Every time you pick it up and move it across the table, it wobbles. So it's maybe not a bad thing that I've got these bigger magnets on here, and yeah, I guess this is a low effort magnetize. I have actually done a video on magnetizing on the channel. So if you search Blood Angels Commander Magnetizing, I think there's like 2 videos I did where I did some magnetizing, and they were slightly higher effort than what I'm doing right now. But I need these models ready in like a week's time, so I don't have time to fuck around, because I'm probably only going to get 1 or 2 more painting sessions. Yeah, I'm probably only get 1 or 2 more painting sessions before basically I have to use these models in a tournament. So yeah, I really don't have time to mess around, I guess. Right, I'm going to wait on this last one though, because I want to make sure that the polarity matches. So that, like, say that this arm is going to go on here, right? I want to make sure that like the other magnets match, because that's something you can definitely do, right? Like, I think they match, but I just want to be 100% sure. So I'm going to put the other magnets. I'm going to wait for this to dry, then I'm going to stick the other magnets to that and check that we haven't fucked anything up, because quite often, well, I've definitely messed up stuff before when I've been trying to magnetize, and if you end up, it's fine. It just means that if you end up in a situation where you're going to want different arms to switch out in the future, if the polarities don't match, then you may end up like having a certain arm only be able to be a certain way around. It's just annoying. I generally just choose what looks cooler and glue it on. Well, I mean, in a land of unlimited money and you can just buy every model, sure, Arc Royal. In a land where you want to be competitive, that's going to be expensive, I guess. But each to their own. The rule of cool is definitely a thing. Star Wars Pod Racing is a bloody good racing game randomly. I saw that the Star Wars Pod Racing one from like episode 1 from like 20 years ago, because I saw that like on the PlayStation store the other week and was like, it was on sale for like $5.99. I was like, I didn't know. I don't think I ever played it really. Like, is it good or is it worth getting? I did notice that Deathwing, which is like a first-person shooter, is also on sale on the PlayStation 4 for like £6. I actually picked that up, so I might stream that at some point. We haven't done a gaming stream in forever on the channel. It's been hard to, I guess it's kind of been hard to set them up, because what with moving and everything, I just haven't really had time. But yeah, I would like to do a little bit gaming, 40k gaming we used to do them sometimes on Friday nights, but yeah, we haven't done them in ages. I also thought I would do a 1 or 2 when I'm on holiday from work, but I used my this last week on holiday I was literally moving house, so I do have some Christmas holidays though, so maybe we'll get a gaming stream over Christmas. I magnetized too much, but I love it. Currently magnetizing a new pistol to my exclusive Imperium captain to make him a legal model. Fast and hard racing game Pod Racer. How many players is Pod Racer then? Is it like 2-player, or like can you split screen it, or what's the deal? Like, because I think it used to be in the arcade, that Pod Racer game, right? But yeah, I don't know if this Deathwing game is any good. I looked at some of the reviews and it said it was a bit slow, but like, I don't know. I'll give it a shot anyway. And it was only £6, so I just don't know I've never streamed from my PS4 before, so I don't know if I can even do that, but I'll look into it. Right, I'm just copying how I painted this other Volkite Contemptor. I'm probably not going to. I mean, these models are probably not going to be finished for the tournament. They're just going to be finished enough that like they're tournament legal. It was 4-player split screen on the N64 back in the day. Wow. Okay. My brother used to have an N64. We used to like GoldenEye. That was a fun game. The soundtrack for that game, I could still listen to that now. It felt like it was so good. But yeah, so if this tournament is 2 weeks today, then that means that I'll have a stream on Thursday. I'll have 2 more Thursday streams, and I'll have 1 more Saturday stream of painting before the tournament. So that's about 6 hours painting. It's probably all I'm going to do before this next tournament. So I really burned myself out a bit on that last tournament stream because like I was just painting all the time to get the list together. So normally on Sunday nights I try and like plan out my content for the week for the channel, and I was just like, no, Sunday nights I'm painting, because I wanted everything to be at least in a pretty good state. So you never know, I may end up painting some of the stuff on Sunday nights again. Is that STC brushes you're using? These are the synthetic GW ones, and he was in here earlier tonight. 2 hit, 2 wound. One of my followers on Twitch, he actually sent me these brushes. Good night, Mark. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Appreciate it. Yeah, so one of my followers, 2 hit, 2 wound, sent me like a pack of like 20 of these STC brushes, and I don't really rate the whatever you call them, like the sable brushes usually is what everyone raves about, right? But Games Workshop do brushes, and they do like artificer brushes, and like an artificer brush from Games Workshop is like $15 or something, and I've honestly used those artificer brushes before and felt like they lasted like 2 paint sessions. Like I was really disappointed with how long the brush lasted, considering how much I spent on it. You know, like, because I usually use these Element Game character brushes, and these are about £8, right? But they last me probably 3 months each brush. Well, 3 months when I was painting more. Like I said, I was painting less now, so maybe they last 4 or 5 months. But those Element Game brushes, I think they're very durable. I do wash my brushes every time I use them, but I know you're not supposed to like do like strokes against the grains and stuff with the brushes, and you're not supposed to like point them with your fingers, but I do both those things. I don't know why I do both those things, I just do. And I guess it's just the way I've always painted, and I've got bad habits. So I've got these bad habits, but the Element Games brushes still last me like a ton of time, whereas the Games Workshop brushes, I spent like $15 on them and they lasted like a paint session or 2 paint sessions. Like I was super disappointed with it. But these STC brushes are like, they're really cheap in comparison, like £3 or £4, and honestly they last just as well as any of the other more expensive Games Workshop brushes. So if you can only get Games Workshop brushes, let's say like your regular brand of brushes is out or something, because that's why I bought, like, I guess some brands like Element were struggling to get restocked during the pandemic. So I ended up just buying some Games Workshop brushes because I wanted to just keep painting, and I would buy these STC ones over the expensive ones any day of the week because they are cheaper and honestly they're just as good. I find GW brushes are crap. Yes, yeah, that's what I was saying. The Sable ones I feel are crap. Alright, let's see how many of these actually magnetize on. Alright, this one's good. This one is not good, so that's the wrong polarity. And this one is not good either. Okay, so this sort of limits. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I need to make sure that. So I guess on this other Dread, these two should be good for it. Let me try. Yeah, so that one's good. And this one is good, and this one's good on the other arm. Yeah, sick. Alright, so we got one Dreadnought with 2 magnets, and I need to get another magnet on this one person with a knife. Let's split these magnets up. And I think it should be black facing the model. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Okay. Alright, it's like 10 minutes to midnight, guys. I usually wrap around midnight. I am back tomorrow for the live army show at like 4 in the afternoon. I think the clocks go back an hour tonight, right? So, if you're or the clocks go back in Britain an hour tonight. So I don't know what that means if you're not in Britain. I guess it means that we might be. If the clocks go back 1 hour, we might be an hour later than normal, I think. So just if you are used to tuning in at a certain time on Sunday, then we might be. I think we might be an hour later. And I think that if you're used to tuning in on the Monday night stream, it'll be the same thing. We might be an hour later because the clock. I guess we're leaving British summertime, I guess. So we're moving into, I guess, what they would just call winter in Britain, I guess. Alright, cool. So I got my magnets on. Technically, these guys are almost fieldable, I guess. You need to have 3 colors on the model for it to be fieldable. So I guess, like, he's red, he's got that black rim on his feet, and he's got a grey gun. That's 3 colors. I just need to put some texture paint on his base, which I will do now, I guess. Just finished Mephiston, Redemptor Dread, Librarian Dread, and 10 Sanguinary Guard. How long did that take you to do? That is a good haul, Stefan. About 6 hours? Wow, that's good going, man. That would take me about 6 weeks to do all that stuff. But yeah, thanks to everyone that watched the video from Friday about the librarian. Always really appreciate you guys when you watched. You know, it helps with the YouTube algorithm a lot when people watch the whole videos and put comments and stuff and likes. So anyone that does that regularly for the channel, it's super appreciated. So thank you so much. It takes me hours to even build Dread. Yeah, I feel like I used to be faster at hobbying stuff before I had children. Children definitely put a damper on your hobby speed, I guess. But I'm hoping this list will... I don't know if I've even really built this list yet. I just know I wanted to try 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts. So I was going back and forth in the members only channel on Discord with a few of you guys. If any of you guys aren't in Discord yet, you should totally join our Discord. There's a link in the video description. It's probably the best way to get a hold of me if you want to ask a question out with one of the streams. Because I get Discord notifications on my phone, so if you need something and you tag me, I can usually find some time to give you an answer. So yeah, Discord is probably, like I said, the best way to get a hold of me out with the stream, and we have a lot of members in Discord now. I think it must be getting close to 1,000 actually. Last time I checked, probably a few weeks or months ago at this point, I think it was like 600-700. So there's a lot of people in Discord. Children force you to do the hobby at night. Yeah, very, very, very true. I sometimes do the hobby on like Saturday mornings and stuff, like before the children are awake, but the problem I have with that is sometimes you spend a lot of time getting set up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you just spent like half an hour or an hour getting everything set up, you're figuring out what you're going to do, and then it's like, oh, the children are awake. So yeah. I guess late at night makes a lot of sense. I left comment to please the machine algorithm. I was wondering what you said without the space. That confused the hell out of me texting. Yeah, I appreciate every comment, every like. It's super appreciated, so thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna basically be rushing this guy, I guess. Although I'm gonna be rushing him, I guess I'm just gonna not have him in a complete state, right? So like I'll make him look good eventually, but I'll have him in a state where like he's got 3 colors on him, he's based, he's totally playable, but we can come back and we can improve like a lot of his shading and the depth on the model and everything. So that's my plan for this guy over the next couple of painting sessions, I guess. Because I don't think there's anything else I need to paint for this tournament. I think it's just this Contemptor, so we've got the option of 2 of them. And like I said, I don't even know specifically if I'm going for... I think I'm going to go 2 Volkite Contemptors. Right? I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't going to try 2 Volkite Contemptors. I try it on Monday night. The Volkite Contemptors always seem to be like MVPs in the Monday night games, and I'm only running 1 of them. It always seems to do a ton of damage, a ton of wounds, a ton of mortals. So I guess running 2 Volkite Contemptors plus 1 Redemptor, maybe 2, I haven't decided, is going to be sort of the core of the list. I'm undecided about the Whirlwind as well. It's a tough one. Like there's so many... I've got so many choices, I guess. Who are you kidding with the kids? Yeah, I mean, do you know what? My kids she's actually really good, right? Like, you know, if you tell her no, she'll go and do other things and she'll leave me to it. But at the same time, I don't want to be just sitting around ignoring my kids, I guess. Alright, I'm going to just wrap up this stream in a couple of minutes. I think we did reasonably well. We got the first coat on the guns. We got the guns magnetized as well, which is important. We kind of managed to get a bit of a rim on these Dreadnought feet. Do you know what? I did actually give this Dreadnought 2 coats of paint as well. So, yeah, we've got a bit done tonight. I'm happy. When I use this guy on Monday night, you won't look totally crap, I guess, now. So, tournament legal. I have a potential tournament coming up in 2 weeks, and all Forge World models are banned. I'm unsure if I even want to enter, having found that out. 1,500 points with Field Awkward. I'd enter Dex. The reason that I was going to say, so when I first started doing the channel, I was using Forge World models in a lot of battles, and people were I was actually getting comments saying like, hey, we love the fact that you win all the time with Blood Angels, but could you actually do some lists without any Forge World stuff in it, because not everybody can afford Forge World, and in some countries Forge World is really expensive, like in Australia and New Zealand and stuff, some of that stuff is crazy expensive. So why not just pick stuff that you can make a good list without using Forge World, 100%. Up until recently, well, let me think. The tournament I just went to, where I finished 4-1 and was like a hair width. I was basically one dice roll from going 5-0. Like, a key dice roll in turn 1 went against me. If that goes for me, I probably could go 5-0 at that tournament. I don't think I had a single Forge World model in my list, right? So why don't you go watch the video that I did? It's on the channel. It's called 4-1. My 4-1 Clan War tournament thing. They don't make money from Forge World orders, so they don't let you take Forge World. I mean, that's kind of shitty, I guess, but I don't know. You don't. In some ways, it means you don't have to deal with Forge World. I made that list purposely, though, because someone asked on the channel. They were like, I like your channel, but I want to see battle reports that don't include Forge World models. And then at that point, it kind of became a challenge to myself. It was like, am I a good player? Can I win games without taking Forge World stuff? Or am I crap and I need to include Forge World? I mean, yeah, I mean, I genuinely think that you can have a good list without Forge World. Okay, that overlay definitely doesn't work right now. But there are my social links. If anyone wants to follow us on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, that is my social links. I don't need them, but the reason for the policy bothers me. Yeah, I guess. But, I mean, you know, the pandemic has made it hard for everybody. If a small company needs revenue from sales to host tournaments, then I'd support them. I mean, in some ways, it's the same reason like I support Warhammer Plus, right? Like, everybody's hating on Warhammer Plus everywhere. I don't know if there's any other YouTubers that are positive about Warhammer Plus. If there is, I haven't seen any. But the videos I've done on Warhammer Plus, I've tried to be positive. I've tried to be... we still have Redemptors. In 1,500 points, I don't think I would go 3 Redemptors. I'd go 2. Do you know what? Let me bring up my list, and then this will be a good way to end the night. Where is that? 4-1 Clan Wars September. Here we go. Alright, so here was my list, and I don't think it had any Forge World, right? Captain on a Bike, Librarian, Infiltrators, Sanguinary Guard, Vanguard Veterans, Attack Bike, Whirlwind, and then the second one was Chaplain on a Bike, Tech Marine, Blade Guards, Company Veterans, Redemptors, Attack Bikes, and Scepters. So if I had to shave 500 points off this, today we got some figures. They said they had tens of thousands of subscribers. Okay, so you've seen someone else be positive on them. That's good. If I had to shave points off this list, Chaplain on the Bike would go. So 115 points right there. You could probably lose the Company Veterans as well. So it's 165 points off. Probably have to lose either the Attack Bikes or the Inceptors. Maybe you don't want 3 characters actually in 1,500 points. You want to have 2 characters. So either the Captain and the Librarian, or the Captain and the Tech Marine. Couple of Redemptors. if you lose 2 characters, that gives you back like 200 points. And then you lose the company veterans, that's 250 points. Maybe the Blade Guard don't need to be a full man squad. Maybe the Whirlwind. But I think, yeah, I mean, that I did well in the tournament with that. And there's no Forge World there. And it was purposely built. Originally, it was built for the plan to have no Forge World. But it was originally built to have no Forge World, but I just never got back to the Forge World, right? Like I just didn't feel like I need it, decks to win games. Ari says, I'm new to 40k after a decade of absence and I want to do Blood Angel Successors. Any tips? Yeah, I mean, tune in tomorrow, I guess, at 4 o'clock, because we do a live stream every week where we talk about army lists. And I mean, if you're brand new, things have changed a lot in a decade. I'll tell you that for right now, because I had a long break myself, like 6 or 7 years, Ari, and things are very different now. Balanced lists is very good for Blood Angels, and I guess if you want to do successors, it depends if you want to pick your own chapter tactics. If you want to use Blood Angels chapter tactics, then my channel is all about winning games with Blood Angels chapter tactics, and I will. If you follow my advice, you will win a lot of games. I win a lot of games, and I do videos about how to win more games. If you want to do your own successor ones, I mean, I think my videos will still be useful, but yeah, I don't know exactly what tips beyond that you're looking for. There's so many playlists on the channel as well with various videos. I was looking for the number of tables for roles in the book and realised this game change. Yeah, well, you need to pick up Codex Blood Angels. You need the 9th edition Codex Blood Angels. If you don't have that, you're not going to get very far at all. But I am live like 2 or 3 times a week, and I usually try and help people out, and I mean, that's kind of the whole point of all my videos. So please stick around, and yeah. Anyway, guys, it's past midnight now, so I was going to call the stream. Thank you, everybody, to watching tonight. Appreciate it. If you did enjoy the stream, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button. If you don't want to hit the like button, then that's fine. We'll still be friends. Just, I won't like you as much or something. I don't know. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon, though, 4 o'clock. Army list stream, and then I'm back on Monday night, 7:30, and we're going to play the Orc speed list on Monday night. So I'm going to run my new tournament list, which does include some Forge World, and that's going to include the 2 Volkite Contemptors, and that's going to play the Orc Speedwag list, which, if I can beat that Speedwag list, I will be very happy, but I honestly don't know if I can. It's a very, very strong list. It's very, very good at killing 2 Moon Marines. And just looking at this photo here of my army, 2 Wound Marines, 2 Wound Marines, 2 Wound Marines. You know, like half my army is 2 Wound Marines. So it's just very, very efficient at killing them. So I guess we'll see what happens on Monday night. I was watching your army list and it's definitely been helpful. Oh, that's good to hear, Ari. Well, consider subscribing, because we have content every week. And yeah, I mean, if you build your first army list, I'm more than happy to add it to look at on one of my live shows. And you can build your own first army list with your successor traits, list them and send them to me. You should probably join our Discord. There's a Discord link in the video description below. But yeah, all the rest of you have a good night. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. And by the blood are we made strong. Peace.